The past 2 decades have witnessed a quiet but powerful revolution in how the world generates electricity. This revolution is driven by the wind. The rise of wind power stands as one of the most remarkable success stories in the global transition toward cleaner energy sources. What was once a niche technology has now become a central pillar of modern power systems. Across the globe, large, mature markets are now deploying wind turbines at a utility scale with unprecedented speed and efficiency. Manufacturers have successfully industrialized the design and production of wind turbines, creating sophisticated supply chains that span continents. Turbine blades are now longer than the wingspans of the largest passenger jets, and towers reach heights that were unimaginable just a generation ago. Grid operators have developed advanced techniques to integrate this variable source of electricity, learning to balance supply and demand with remarkable precision. Today, 5 countries have emerged as dominant forces in wind power production. These leaders are China, the United States, Germany, India, and Spain. Together, they account for a significant majority of the world's installed wind capacity. Their experiences offer lessons on how to scale up renewables, integrate wind into complex power grids, and build industrial ecosystems to support the transition. This chapter will take you through these 5 markets to draw the lessons needed to power a sustainable future with wind. When it comes to wind power, China operates on a scale that is difficult to comprehend, dwarfing every other nation on the planet. For over a decade, China has been the undisputed global leader, installing more turbines on land and at sea than the rest of the world combined in some years. The country's relentless pursuit of wind energy is a direct consequence of its massive and ever-growing electricity demand, fueled by rapid industrialization and urbanization. In recent years, the combined contribution of wind and solar power to China's total electricity generation has climbed firmly into the double digits. In the eyes of Chinese policymakers, wind power is far more than just another source of electricity. It is a vital strategic asset. By building a world-class wind sector, China aims to reduce its heavy and long-standing reliance on coal, which has historically dominated its power mix. The government has actively nurtured a domestic manufacturing base for wind equipment, seeing it as a new, high-tech industry with significant export potential. The strategic importance of wind is also reflected in the country's ambitious future targets, particularly in the offshore sector. Firms such as Goldwind, Envision, and Mingyang, once unknown outside of China, are now household names in the international wind industry. They focused on developing larger, more powerful turbines, pioneering taller hub-height onshore machines and models suited for deeper waters offshore. Factory networks, ports adapted for offshore staging, and integrated supply chains give Chinese producers a cost and scale advantage. The intense Chinese market competition has driven rapid global cost declines in wind technology over the last decade, making wind power more affordable worldwide. One of the most critical issues the country has faced is the problem of grid integration and curtailment. To address this, China has embarked on an unprecedented program to build ultra-high voltage transmission corridors. Looking ahead, China's ambitions in offshore wind are particularly noteworthy and represent the next major frontier for the industry. Its immense scale will remain the primary determinant of global manufacturing economics and the pace of technological innovation. The United States holds the second position among the world's top wind power producers, but its journey looks quite different from China's state-led model. The American wind market is more pluralistic, combining massive utility-scale onshore wind farms with a rapidly emerging offshore wind sector. The heart of American wind power beats strongest in the central part of the country, in states like Texas, Iowa, and Oklahoma. Wind now supplies over 10% of the nation's electricity, with some states seeing much larger shares, as high as 70 to 80% of local electricity at moments. This remarkable growth is the direct result of a dynamic interplay between federal policy, state-level commitments, and strong private sector investment. Many states have passed renewable portfolio standards that mandate utilities source a share of electricity from renewables, creating guaranteed markets. The economic case for wind is increasingly compelling. In the Central Plains, the levelized cost of energy for new wind is often lower than other new generation. The American turbine supply chain is a blend of domestic manufacturing muscle and strong international partnerships. General Electric is the largest domestic supplier, while European firms like Vestas and Siemens Gamesa also run factories here. The U.S. quote, vast geography and onshore dominance created a distributed manufacturing footprint, demanding sophisticated logistics management to move massive components across the country. The rise of offshore wind is prompting new industrial investment, building an ecosystem with different requirements, including upgraded port facilities and specialized vessels. The U.S. grid is not a single national entity, but a patchwork of regional systems. Overcoming the transmission bottleneck is a critical challenge. The industry is focusing on technological innovation, like larger turbine rotors and higher hub heights, to increase the capacity factor of wind farms. The emerging U.S. offshore wind sector represents a crucial industrial and technological test for the nation. By combining the vast potential of its onshore heartland with the promising new frontier of its oceans, the United States is well positioned to remain a global leader. Germany stands as the undisputed European leader in wind power, a position earned through its profound impact on the nation's entire energy system. For Germany, wind power is the very heart of its ambitious national project known as the Energiewende, or energy transition. In years with favorable wind conditions, onshore wind has often become the single largest source of electricity in the country. Many of the country's early wind farms were financed and owned by local communities, farmers, and citizen cooperatives, which helped to build strong public support. Germany's success is deeply rooted in its strong industrial heritage and world-renowned engineering culture, which prioritizes technical excellence, quality, and long-term performance. The industry pioneered turbines with advanced grid-forming capabilities, enabling them to support grid stability by providing services once provided only by thermal plants. The focus is on long-term value, boosting capacity factors through taller towers, more aerodynamic blade designs, and sophisticated control systems. However, as turbines have grown, local opposition to new onshore projects has become a significant hurdle in some regions. The German government's policy response is multifaceted, accelerating offshore development, streamlining permitting, and enhancing financial compensation for local communities. Germany's leadership extends to grid integration, creating a laboratory for markets and mechanisms to manage a variable wind-powered grid. The lessons about maintaining system stability and public support offer an invaluable model for other dense industrialized countries. India presents a striking and powerful example of wind power's crucial role in a rapidly developing economy. As one of the world's fastest-growing major economies, India faces the immense challenge of meeting a surging demand for electricity. Every new wind farm helps diversify energy security and reduces dependence on coal and imported fossil fuels. India's wind resource is unique, with a large share of its annual output produced during powerful monsoon seasons. To smooth this seasonal variability, India is turning to hybrid projects, pairing wind farms with large-scale solar installations and battery storage. India's wind power success has been closely linked to its long-standing efforts to foster a strong domestic manufacturing industry. This strategy was anchored by homegrown champions, most notably Suzlon Energy, which built a national network of factories and service centers. As the industry evolves, developers are embracing taller towers and larger rotors to access higher and steadier wind speeds. By providing clean and reliable power, wind energy drives industrial growth and improves energy access for millions, charting a path of sustainable development. Spain rounds out the list of the top 5, a pioneer whose wind sector is one of the most mature and well-established in the world. The Spanish grid benefits from a powerful complementary mix of strong onshore wind and abundant solar power. Together, they have enabled a system dominated by renewables in many recent years, accounting for a majority of total electricity generation. Spanish power companies have become masters of integration, using clever business models like corporate PPAs and cross-border trading to manage the grid. A key part of Spain's plan is strengthening its electrical interconnections, allowing it to export surplus renewable power and import energy when needed. On windy, sunny days, cheap renewables push out expensive fossil plants, driving electricity prices down and providing real relief for household budgets and businesses. Spain is showing how a modern economy can move to clean, local, and affordable renewables by optimizing its grid and working with its neighbors. Across the 5 leading nations, a clear theme emerges. A robust domestic manufacturing ecosystem is a critical engine for success. Where national policy provides stable demand, local factories rise to meet the need, creating jobs and building public support for the energy transition. The intense competition among manufacturers has fueled a relentless pursuit of larger rotors, taller towers, and smarter control software. Another universal theme is the complex puzzle of grid integration. Successfully integrating large amounts of variable wind power is a major technical and regulatory challenge. A third major trend is the decisive move into offshore wind, which offers stronger, more consistent winds and proximity to coastal demand centers. However, significant challenges remain, including supply chain resilience, end-of-life recycling, and maintaining social acceptance. The lessons are invaluable. Success hinges on sustained policy, strong industrial ecosystems, and grids that are active enablers of the transition. The task ahead is to move from gigawatts to terawatts, requiring unprecedented international cooperation and political will. In the next decade, the actions of these leaders will shape the global energy transition. Together, they illuminate a path to a world powered by clean, abundant, and sustainable wind.